After 6 months of hard work, we could finally stand back and check out the results. Skua's changed a lot since we bought her. Here's some before and after shots. We're pretty much ready to go. The test sail went really well, and we are just getting ready to go for tomorrow. We hope to cross from here to Mallorca, and that's a 24-hour passage, but we might continue on to Mallorca if it's too early or if the wind is really good. I'm doing some meal prepping, so I'm gonna show you. I'm just boiling here in the pressure cooker some green beans, and soaking some beans to make a bean soup with lots of veg, which will be really nice to have if it's cold, or warm it up once we're in the anchorage and we're too tired to cook a fresh meal. So exciting stuff, really busy today all around the boat. We went for a slightly big shop. Our neighbours were super nice and they took us to Lidl, which is about 40-45 minutes on foot. And we've been going there to shop all the time with our backpacking backpacks, but we really needed to fill up and just sort of get all sorts of staples and long life milk and that sort of stuff, because it's so much cheaper here in Lidl on the mainland than anywhere on the islands. We filled up on absolutely everything: long life milk, coffee, cereal, nuts, seeds, grains, everything. So, I think, what is that? The big cheese, you put it away. Yeah, the huge cheese. We got a big cheese. 2 kilos of cheese. 6 euros for a huge semi-curado. So we're ready to set off?
Yeah, I think so. I've filled up the water, we filled up the fuel this morning, and we're just double checking the weather forecast, because being the Med, things can change pretty quickly. But it's still looking really good. The icon forecast, which is the one we always rely on in the Med, is still showing 10 to 15 knots. We're going to have to go a little bit off course from the straight line to get the wind, but that's fine. I kind of thought that would be the case because there's basically big mountains behind us here in St. Carles, and so you have to kind of get out of either way of them. So it's looking like we'll head to the north and then follow the winds east 10 to 15 knots aft of the beam. So hopefully this boat should be able to make 4.5-5 knots in those conditions. If it's feeling light, then we might try out the cruising chute in the day, but yeah, we'll see how we go.
Just before we set off, some special friends showed up.
Hello, it's me. Hello.
After we showed the guys around our boat, we went over for dinner. So we're ready to go, and we are going off for dinner on Yacht Ruby Rose. Whoops. They should be a few pontoons away. Just not the best of nights again.
It must be over there.
Yeah. It's really nice of them, especially the night before we set off. We don't have to worry about cooking or anything. God, it looks like the apocalypse is coming.
Yeah, it's pretty grim over there.
Yeah. I didn't notice it earlier on there.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, pretty sweet.
Come on board.
Thank you.
Do you want to come around the side?
Yeah.
How's your day been?
Yeah, pretty
Alright.
good.
Sweet, yeah.
Got everything we want it to get sorted.
It's fine.
bad.
No, don't. I do it all the time.
No, we can't.
Can't do it.
I appreciate the good manners though.
Yep.
Yeah, good. Sail.
It looks like it's going to be raining a lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
2 days of varnishing and sanding and filling to do. Eat.
Should I save the
Don't
potatoes?
touch that plate
Yeah,
away from all. You'll hurt yourself.
We had mangoes as well. And we had oranges. We had mangoes that fell off the back of the boat because we had a net that stretched.
I didn't know you were filming. I'll eat smaller mouthfuls.
That's amazing. I'm going to keep that in the video.
Yeah, definitely.
Good morning, it's 5 AM and we are getting ready to go. There's meant to be 0 wind right now, but we wanted to be out of the lagoon for 6 AM and we want to make a certain amount of progress in the, call them doldrums, in the patch of no wind that we have in front of the mountains, because the wind starts further north, but we need to catch it. It moves throughout the day. Well, that was a very stressful start. We had problems manoeuvring out of our berth. We have noticed since that the wind vane, which we remounted last night, we put the rudder on last night, is steering us to one side or the other, and that's probably what caused the problems. We couldn't go in the direction we wanted to go into. And then as soon as we were out of the marina, the fishing fleet we could see had already started going out, and there were so many boats. It was really hard to decide what they were doing. Some were setting up a net, some were just motoring out, some were stopping out of the blue. It was unreal. I don't think we've ever seen so many fishing boats ever, even in Portugal where it's absolutely full of them. We're just out of the lagoon now and it's a little bit more relaxed. I can't wait to put the sails up and hopefully be a little bit less stressed. Well, getting the sails up was challenging. I don't know what went wrong again, but yeah, couldn't film it. It was really hard because I think we were trying to do too many things at the same time, putting in a reef before putting the sail up, and then things got tangled. So yeah, I'm really sorry I didn't film it, but honestly this is so much to handle, like the new boat, the new sails, not just, you know, a new boat, but a completely different boat, monohull. Anyway, we've got the sails up, as you can see behind me. We have a main with one reef and the Yankee up there somewhere, and we're doing 5.5 knots in 17 knots of wind, and we're ever so slightly close hauled. It's really lovely. Let me check what sort of heeling we've got. How many degrees? Around 10 degrees heeled. Super comfy, and it's actually a pretty fast ride. We're coming up to 5.8 knots and we don't even have the staysail out, so we are being a little bit conservative because we're still close to the mountains. But once we are clear of this crazy coastal mountain chain. We might be a little bit more daring, we'll see. Put up all 3 sails would be really cool, especially because we're just off the beam, so it would be sort of the perfect point of sail for a kata. So yeah, really exciting stuff.
I'm glad we put in the first reef when we set off. There was a gust up to about 27 knots just then, and it was like really easily manageable, and the boat felt really stable and we weren't really heeling over that much.
This night will be okay, waking up to another day.
I'd say that's about right now.
Yeah, that's good.
What are you doing?
I'm trying out the emergency tiller. So far so good.
It was really easy to set up, right?
Yeah, really easy.
How are you finding it?
It's a little bit muscly, but it's really nice in a way. I remember Lynn Pardy in one of her books, she writes about, because they sail on like an old pilot, well not that old, but an old-fashioned pilot cutter with tiller steering, and then her and her husband Larry go off and try and race this sailboat with wheel steering, and she says without the feel of the tiller, like she doesn't know what she's doing. Maybe not those words, but like she really struggled, and I can kind of, now I'm doing this, I can kind of see why. You get so much feel of the boat, you can feel all the little gusts, you can feel the weather helm, you can feel everything through the boat. You can even feel the increase in like responsiveness as the speed picks up. So I really like it. I'm not sure I'd want to do it in 30 knots for very long, or just to do it for very long anyway, but now it feels really nice. So it's just after 12 o'clock, so we've been sailing for about 5-6 hours now. We've made some decent progress. The conditions, as ever in the Med, are really variable. We had a spell where it was 25 knots fairly consistently, which was good. We made good progress. Now the wind's dropping. It's supposed to shift sometime soon, so it's probably dropping to then shift to come from the opposite direction. We've just turned to head more to the southeast. We were heading more northeasterly, and that was to position ourselves for the best winds. But while we're heading southeasterly, the swell is on the quarter and the wind's not very strong, so it's a bit rolly. So Eleanor's not feeling too great. But we're kind of expected to not feel too great on this passage because it's the first sail of the season and it usually makes you feel like crap. So hopefully we'll anchor out a couple of nights and then we'll both feel a lot better for the onward journey. It's been like this both times we started out. Like the trip to the Scillies, Eleanor felt like crap, I didn't feel very good. And last year the trip from Portimao to Faro, exact same. So yeah, hopefully after this we'll be feeling a bit better, and we'll be in some really cool anchorages, hopefully. It's nice to get out of... Hold on, it's a bit swell. Wind's just picked up, I'll have to pop upstairs, but yeah, it's nice to be out of St. Carlos and making our way to some anchorages.
Oh no, with your words on repeat, I will break like a twig right under your feet. Don't you say that you didn't want me. You turned me upside down and then you're in my bed and under my skin. But where will it end if I let it begin? So bittersweet, you know life's too short, so let's not waste another minute. Hey, it's alright now. Listen to such a beautiful sound. Hey, it's alright now, but I don't know if I can take another go round.
So we're just settling in for the night. We probably won't do proper on and off watches for this sail, just because it's only 24 hours, probably not even that, and we're obviously still getting used to the boat, so I don't really want to be like fully asleep and then something come up and we have to sort of deal with it straight away. So we'll probably both kind of like snooze and stay up for most of the night. So looking forward to dropping the anchor in the morning and going to bed. That's a long way off yet. It should be quite a nice night. There's a few clouds around, but there's plenty of clear sky and the moon's not very bright, so there should be a lot of stars out, maybe the Milky Way, as we're right out here in the middle of nowhere now. About half an hour ago we got the first sight of Mallorca. We can still see the mainland at the same time as well, so we're over halfway now. I think, yeah, we'll probably be getting in early tomorrow morning, depending on exactly where we decide to go. And if we're too early and it's still dark, then we might just carry on to somewhere a little further away, so we're getting in the daylight. So yeah, it's all good here really. The sea's a little bit sloppy, so we're both feeling a little bit rough, especially, like I said earlier, being the first sail of the season, you always feel a little bit not quite at your best. Hopefully if we both get to snooze for a bit, then we'll both feel a bit better.
Morning.
Morning.
How's it going?
Good. It was a bit of a rough night. The wind died right down and the boat was rolling around a lot. Both of us felt a little bit ropey, but we're nearly there now. And we're about 2 to 3 hours from Cap de Formentor. And then when we turn the corner we should be well protected, and then we'll go down to Pienza and then just hang out there for a couple of days.
We have just passed Cap de Formentor, and I have to say, after such a tough first sail, it's nice to be somewhere that we know where to go, we know where to anchor, we know where there's good holding. So it was a great decision to come back here. Just can't wait to get in and eat. Just be good well enough to eat something. That would be really nice. So we discovered the wheel doesn't work anymore. It won't turn in any sort of direction. It already had some issues yesterday and now it doesn't work at all. The wind vane rudder is pointing us in the wrong direction, is the blade is not mounted correctly, and so thankfully we've got the emergency tiller which we can use. For some reason the autopilot works, so that's good for, you know, steering long distance, but yeah, gonna have to anchor with the tiller because the wheel just doesn't work at all. Stressful.
So that's all good. I'm feeling it.
Oh yeah? Whereabouts? Dead ahead. Okay, 4.7. Yeah. How's it looking?
Yeah, good. It's the first time we anchored this boat in clearer sort of water, so you can see what was going on a bit more.
Wanna see another epic fail of this first sail? Look behind me. My brand new DIY sack bag chafed on the boom gallows. We didn't realise it was trapped under the boom in the middle of the night, so it's got holes on each side. I can't wait to fix it up. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to our channel or leave us a comment. You can also support our video production to get access to extra content on Patreon. Join us next time as we fix the problems with Skua and head to Menorca on the cruising ship. Don't you say that you didn't want me.